Okay, it is 6 o'clock on January 8th, 2025. Calling the regular board meeting to order, noticing the absence of Stacy Mazurek. Every time I want to say that. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, no guests, but we do have a public comment from Mr. Pena.
Good evening. Trust you all had a good Christmas and Happy New Year, except for the weather. So, Solo Pena, South Clemmy. So, last time I was here in November, I was wrong. I'm sorry, Ms. Bell. You did. No, I'll make the public apology. Make the public comment that you did address it in September. Somehow I missed it, so it's my error, it's my fault. But I would like to encourage the board, since you're gonna, table it till April. I would recommend the board to maybe go to the Kick and Get Back Center and see what it's all about over there. I don't think I mentioned it before, but not only do they service this, youth in our community, they also offer services for senior citizens. So I would just encourage you to go check it out. I know that, well, we're there on Monday sparring, so not much going on then, but Tuesday we have class, Thursday we have class starting at 5 o'clock, so, if you want to go check it out, you all know Sensei, but, he can give you more insight. Thank you.
I like an open gym sparring.
You participate.
He's like, it's an open gym, we just, had a bad day, we just show up. Open
We're
spot.
not allowed to talk about Fight Club, but that's
Team building.
Okay, so next up, is the approval of the board minutes. So I need a motion to approve the regular board minutes of December 9th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Flickman? Yes. Beecher200U?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
yes.
Belt?
Yes.
Flores? Yes. Motion carried.
And next up, I need a motion to approve the January 2025 expenses as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Beecher200U?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Belt?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Flickman?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next up is the treasurer's report.
The exciting treasurer's report. Balance at the super now account at First Community at the end of December was $5,389,164.89. Outstanding checks were $74,815.79. December payroll carryover totaled $31,211.55, leaving the adjusted bank balance at $5,283,137.55. Lunch program balance, $64,381.20. Imprest fund, $5,000, totaling $5,352,518.75. Investment balance is $5,476,476.64, leaving the total balance of all funds in the district at 12/31 at $10,828,995.39. Receipts totaled $620,798.46, and expenses $1,509,739.95. The individual fund balances at the end of December: education fund $7,368,037.69, building fund $805,819.25, bond and interest minus $82,917.42. Transportation fund, $1,219,113.04. IMRF, $181,984.17. The working cash fund, $361,734.06. Court fund balance, $402,222.93. Life safety, $573,001.67. Interest at First Community in December totaled $22,154.66. That rate did drop a little bit. The state just had a few distributions in December. The normal state aid, $350,880. School lunch program, $14,656.46. State free lunch, $113, and special milk, $13.50. And then we had the 10th real estate distribution for $106,588 even. Most of the balances are in the packet.
I would like to say, first, Mike's done a phenomenal job working with Midwest and First Community. Midwest in particular, you notice if you look at your investment page, there's a lot of, well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5 different CDs that are currently out there. So as things mature, we then try to keep them as liquid as we can. But they've been phenomenal working with Mike and myself, making sure that they make us aware of what's there, and then finding that best interest rate. Mike, tell me if I'm wrong, but you're not gonna see 5s.
No.
I saw a couple of the new ones, they're 5s, I was like,
Yeah,
lock that
so
in.
as those mature, we're gonna have to make decisions on what we're doing with that, because as the interest rates start to drop, you're not gonna see the 5s, even 4.5s are gonna be hard to come by. So I just want to kind of manage your expectations. Mike's done a phenomenal job finding those for us, as is Midwest and First Community, but just please understand. Sorry, 2 cents.
I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Hanson.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Flickman.
Yes.
DeChenko.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up are staff reports. First up is Miss Black.
Good evening, everyone. It hasn't been too many school days since our last meeting, so there's not a whole lot that has happened. But I did just want to point out a couple of things. We will this month start our fundraising for our Brookfield to adopt an animal project. I'll be working with student council on that. I will also be working on student council to plan our third quarter PBIS celebration. I spoke with Mrs. Davis and Ms. Naylor after their last meeting. The kids had some ideas, some of them were a little bit more realistic than others. So I'll go back and talk to them at their meetings and help kind of guide them towards some ideas that are maybe, I know, a little bit more realistic than we do. One of them wanted to bring a Bill Nye science guy. I'm like, I don't think that's a great idea, but he doesn't look anything like he does in this video that you're watching on my own. I don't know if it's making appearances. But, so we'll be working on that over the next few weeks. I did put in some pictures from the Wheel of Wisdom and our Responsibility Award winners. And Monday, we spent some time together as a staff with our Teach, Train, Thrive, which was the kind of the second part. We had some reviews, some refreshers, and then worked about, taught us some different strategies, different things we can do with students and behaviors, and I plan on working with SLT and also Ms. Compton and I kind of, after the last presentation, how can we keep this going? So what kinds of things, what kind of challenges can we have with staff, and just, not challenges like trying to beat people, but challenges like, this was a strategy they talked about, try incorporating this in your classroom, share feedback with your team, let us know what you see, things like that. So she and I have already started talking and have some ideas about how we can keep that energy moving forward. Anyone have any questions?
I know it said you're gonna be doing your middle benchmarking, your
Yes.
winter benchmarking.
Mhm.
Do they do, it says, encouraging them to do their best and stuff like that. Is there any kind of reward or prize for the
So-
ones that meet their growth goal, like an incentive? I
Sure.
don't know,
So we haven't talked about that, like giving them a reward, but just because we haven't really talked to them about growth before, so that's kind of the thing that we're doing. This is the first time we're showing them, actually, we just talked at SLT today about that, about making sure that we show them where they were in the fall, and reminding them, take your time, we want to see growth, and we'll be looking at these again. So we really haven't talked about incentivizing that.
I know you hate to reward because they need to do it, but it seems like it kind of is the easiest way to get the elementary kids to buy in. Like,
Right.
you'll get extra gym time if you meet your
Well,
goal, because it's not so much
and-
you have to score at grade level, you just have to make your own growth.
Right, and I think that part of the reason that we're not necessarily incentivizing the growth, because this is the first time that our kids have made their own goals. Some of the goals aren't again.
Attainable.
Exactly,
Okay.
but we're really stressing, this is where you were last time, we want you to do better than last time, and leaving it at that.
Okay.
So I think that once we go through this process once, we'll kind of see how that worked out, how the kids took it, but we did have those conversations today to make sure that we show them where they're at, and our goal is to do better than we did last time. So,
Okay.
all right. Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Dr. Quasny.
Meyer has purple on.
Why didn't they all?
He missed one.
I'm gonna get the memo.
He definitely has purple.
He does?
I don't know.
No, sorry.
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 This way. So in December, after the board meeting, but before break, the students, the 8th graders took the pre-ACT and just wanted to report everything went well. There were a couple like minor computer glitches at the beginning, but I think it was more so with just, you know, a few individual students and classrooms that were maybe not like prepped the way that they were supposed to be, but Mr. Stack came and took care of it and everything went really smoothly, so we were happy about that. We switched because the high school switched, so it was our first time doing it, so we were pleased with how everything went, so we'll see how the scores are. I wanted to give a shout out to the PE department. The winter games were held the last day before break and they were awesome. They did a lot of different activities. Most of them, of course, were physical, like kind of gym activities. They also had some academic games and puzzles and things. So the kids always love it. They don't have to participate. They can just watch if they want and cheer on the students who are participating in their grade. So that's always fun for the spectators as well. 8th grade won. They don't always win though, but it was a very fun time. 2 other quick updates in terms of school improvement professional development. We did start looking over our ELA materials that have been coming in from different companies. So we're starting, we will have that adoption next year. So we've started reviewing materials. So far we've looked at Wit and Wisdom as well as HMH. So we do have a presentation coming up in a couple weeks for HMH, and we do have some other ones that other companies that we've reached out to as well. So it's, you know, a big job to look through all those materials. We're kind of trying to take it one series at a time because they send just a plethora of materials. And then also 7th grade, I just wanted to mention that we did start that IAR math prep that we talked about. That class we're servicing, Mr. Hilger is servicing 16 students. He started that yesterday and it will be for all of 3rd quarter to try to get those bubble students who are right on the cusp of meeting their expectations and meeting, you know, for the IAR, to try to bump them up, give them that little bit of extra help so they're getting an extra class period of math help in lieu of their special. So that started, we had 4 kids opt out of the 20 we invited, so I thought that was pretty good. We kind of were looking at 15-ish and we invited 20, just kind of anticipating that some parents would possibly want to opt their students out. So checked in with Mr. Hilger, he said it's going well so far. He tried to kind of pump it up as this is going to be fun. He's not assigning homework and he's not having tests per se. It's more of work together, work on your own, check-in, work in small groups. So we don't want to give them extra work. Especially because the other students won't have that workload in their specials. So we want to be fair, but on the other hand, we want to, you know, make sure they're learning the material, they're trying, making it fun as well, as much as you can for the non-math people. I know math people always think math is fun. So that's where we're at.
It is fun.
It is, yes. Anybody have any questions?
For the textbook adoption that you're looking at,
Yes.
will you have time to pilot, or are you just gonna kind of look through the material and have your team kind of think what aligns with what we teach? Because 25, 26, you probably won't have time to pilot anything. Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you.
So one thing Dr. Quadney said, I just want to make sure to clarify, especially for our home viewers. She said the high school chose to go to, or high school is now doing ACT, or the high school didn't choose it. Yeah, the high school did not choose it. It's not a Beecher specific thing. The state bids out the assessment every 10 years. ACT won it this year. And so ACT is going to be the state assessment moving forward. It's not like Mike said, oh, I like SAT, we're moving. It's 100% of state oriented, so that's why it's been moved over to ACT. So just for clarification. Sorry, Mr. Meyer. You look very tired going from there to there.
I know it, I was wore out trying to sit down. I didn't want to be the center of attention. So I think last month I talked about school to work and how we were going to do this all on school links. It was going to be great. We've already changed some of that because we started going through the whole process. And I don't want to say it was a lot for parents to do, but we'd have to give them codes and we'd have to do certain things. So now we're going to tweak it just a little bit. We're still going to use some of the stuff still in there, but we are going through the process. Steve and I have kind of decided, mostly Steve, saying, hey, this is what we should do. Okay. We're going to tone it down just a little bit. We're going to have some more hard copies than having parents with new codes and all that stuff. Hopefully next week we should have our first 2 interviews. We've got 2 kids that have already filled out all the paperwork. The parents are all involved, and so hopefully next week we'll do our, like I said, our first 2 interviews. Secondly, and I didn't put in, I'm not talking about anything in the packet, so it was some other things that came up. Secondly, Prairie State College, we only have 1 class this semester. It is Music 130. It does start January 14th. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Why we don't have a second one is because there's no instructor, no class. We've got nothing. So it's Tuesday, Thursday. No books, so that's a little different as well. No required materials, don't have to pay anything, at least material-wise. But only 1 class this semester, which is the first time that's happened since I've been here. A couple things over the holidays that I didn't get in time to put in there, but National Honor Society adopted every resident of Beecher Manor. We got little goodie baskets and wrote a card for the residents. And then lastly, Bobcat Pride finished up Frosty Friends in collaboration with Mrs. Herman. We had a total of 14 gift bags that they fulfilled, stuff that our staff didn't do. So we know that's an important program, and that's Bobcat Pride has picked that up if we didn't clean it up. So we appreciate.
And we certainly thank you. That was 36 families, 110 children this year.
But someone forgot a sled, so, and I hate to bring that back. So I was telling his wife, I was like, well, I forgot a sled, so there's a couple, so, that's fine, we gotta come back, so. It was just on a different table, you didn't know.
I
You
didn't see.
So, but no,
It looked like you'd been using it.
yeah, I know, but 2 of them. The round one is kind of tough to get in anymore, but the other one was fine. But no, that's a good cause, and I'm glad that we can help out. I appreciate that. So, that's what I have. Anything for me? Thank you.
Dr. Gahan.
Fantastic. 0 FOIAs this past month that were requested. I just got one in my inbox yesterday, so that will be satisfied within the commercial one, but it will be satisfied. We get it every quarter. School maintenance grant was formally approved by ISBE last week, so I've already talked to Mr. Stanula. He's already going to set up with Mr. Hurley to get those poles put in once the ground thaws. He had the door guy out looking yesterday or over break. We're going to get those installed at the summertime, and he already has the locksmith. Again, they're exterior, so when it warms up, the locksmith's all aligned to go, ready. So all those things are set, ready to go. So very happy that that got approved. I even put a quick email into the ROE to let them know that I submitted it because there was only 3 days left on the submission date, and he took care of it right away for us, so that was very good. I sent you all an email. I know it's later on, but I figured it'd just be best if I just, as part of this, kind of give you an update on the facility dog. Stiachenko, I feel really bad for you. Are you? Okay, I'm gonna power through it. If I don't stop, I'm sorry. I've had some people ask some questions. I've had some people contact me. So I kind of wanted to give you guys an overview of where we started, where we're at, where we're going, and then hopefully answer some of the questions that I've been posed, whether it's through teachers who come to me or board members or public, discussing the topic. So Mr. Sarsley approached me probably, let's say September, and said he looked into this program, he really likes it, and he knows I was a proponent of it when I started this, but we didn't have any interest when I started being the superintendent. Mr. Sarsley is the one that kind of spearheaded this. And so at that time, my instruction to Mr. Sarsley was find some programs, let me know the cost, and then I can approach you guys with it. If you remember, I approached you guys and said, hey, so far right now, the company we found is $4,000 plus the training, so on and so forth. We continue moving forward with just the basic verbal, yep, sounds good, keep moving forward with it. The last time I came to you guys and said, hey, we're gonna go to the foundation, ask to cover the potential cost for the animal, as Steve still continues to look for the options. And again, the direction was good. We went to the foundation. The foundation acknowledged that they would be willing to compensate this, to reimburse the school up to $10,000 on the acquisition of a facility dog. So over break, Steve did his due diligence, and Steve finally came down to one company. It's called Dual Dogs. I did share with you guys the agreement that they have with the handler. So some of the questions that have been asked to me, I want to make sure are on recording. So if you guys get asked them in public, you can say, go to minute marker 21 on the YouTube channel, and you're going to hear Gabe say it. So how does the agreement work? So with Dual Dogs specifically, the dog is no cost to the district, zero, nothing. They are, for lack of a better term, they're going to donate the dog to the school district as long as we have handlers, minimum of 2, maximum of 4, who will oversee the dog and take care of the dog when it's in our possession. Then those people are Steve Sarson, he's your primary, and then Kayla Heiss is the social worker here. She's going to be the secondary handler. The dog will live with Steve. Steve is 100% responsible, again, part of the agreement. If something happens to where Steve no longer is able to be the handler, Kayla obviously would step in as a secondary handler. If Steve is permanently removed from that position, the school district has 2 options. We can contact Dual Dogs and they will take back the dog and say, hey, we get it, we'll make sure that it has a good home, we'll find a new place. Or we assign a new handler, we get that new handler trained, and then they continue on with either Kayla as the primary or the new secondary handler. It is not, I want to make sure this is very clear, it is not Steve going to the litter, picking out the cutest puppy, taking the dog with him, and then the dog and him get to have a week together to learn all this. This dog has been trained from birth for 2 years to do this job specifically. So it's not like I can go to the local animal shelter, pick up the cutest dog I can find, and then that's going to be our therapy dog. These dogs are trained for 2 years without our handlers to be these kind of animals. So then when Steve and Kayla go, they are paired with an animal that will work with what we need. So it's very important that we know it is the dog selecting us and what Steve deems as our needs at the high school level. If along the way, so what is the cost? I've already told you the dog itself is zero. Within that $10,000 item they did, there is a $450 fee that it's a goodie bag, if you will. That is the leash, the coat, the collar. That's all part of the thing that they'll pay for. We also have to pay for Kayla and Steve to get there. We have to pay for their per diems, their food while they're there, and also their transportation, hotels, things like that. That is part of the coverage of the foundation grant that we got. So there's quite literally no upfront cost to the school district. The first, Dual Dogs has been taking care of the vet visits, but the first primary one, anything that needs to be done, is also covered within that first upfront cost. Will be reimbursed through the foundation. The only expense to the district moving forward until the dog retires, and that's part of the agreement at the age of 10, would be the potential of a yearly vet visit just to make sure, like a human being or any of your pets, that the animal is healthy. I don't have a dog to take to vets, but vet visits, unless there's something majorly wrong with the dog, is not super expensive. And at the end of the day, let's say in that 10-year time span, you take them every single year, and at most you're spending $5,000 over a 10-year time span. $150 million is what this district will spend in 10 years. $5,000 is nothing for the greater impact that could help kids. And so I promise you I would not bring this to this board if this was A, money suck, B, a money grab, or me being fiscally irresponsible. This is something that Steve has brought to me, he's brought to Mike, and it's something I was passionate about when I first heard about it as well. Oh, and so if something happens, one person asked, what if the dog is a lemon? And I'm assuming they meant like a car lemon. Again, if there's something that happens where the school is no longer able to be fiscally for the dog, i.e. it suddenly gets stones and so on and so forth, Dual Dogs, as part of the agreement, is will take the animal back if we are no longer able to financially support the animal. So at any point in time, I don't see that happening because it's a living creature. And I know when I talk like I get it. It's a dog. I know I'm the crass guy. At any point in time, if we can't handle it, it goes back to Dual Dogs. The contract that we as in Beecher200U create with Mr. Sarsney is the exact same thing. Steve, you are responsible for anything at home. So after that preliminary thing, the food, the day-to-day things of owning a dog is the responsibility of the handler. The overarching things, the medical concerns, are the district's responsibility, i.e. the vet bills. If Steve were to move on, if Steve were to quit the job, then the dog, again, is property of the school district, it's property of Dual Dogs, but it stays with the school district. Steve does not get to keep it. It's not the cute puppy that we bought for him. It is the school district's dog. And then, what was the last thing? Doggone it. Regarding the foundation, we asked them for lots of things. The dog was just one of the many. So why we asked the foundation, it's a good resource.
Yeah, there.
So.
Well, the foundation, being the liaison, they've always said that one of the reasons, what they like to give back is innovative things that, the school would like to do, but maybe need the funds to do to see how it would work for this district. So this type of initiative seemed like a really good fit for the foundation's, whatever their,
The mission statement.
mission statement. Thank you very much. So is Dual Dogs now, they said, what if a dog is a lemon? I know that.
I said that.
No, but like when the question came up, like what if it was lemon? I know when we were at the foundation, he said that he was researching several different, accredited, companies. He said something about that they find the right fit, and if we find it's not the right fit, then there's an exchange. I mean, I know this is an animal, but like.
I believe this contract has a 45, it's the one I provided you, I believe it's a 45-day,
Yeah.
please don't.
So if we feel that that dog is not the right fit for our school, we would have the ability to find one that maybe would be a better fit.
That's great. And if you look at what the expectation of the handler, like, it even says there, he cannot take it to a dog park. He can't take it to where there's other dogs on leash. It's very, like, this is a.
Very strict.
Well, it's not a pet.
Correct, it is not his, it's his dog, but it is not his pet. Correct.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a working service
Yes,
animal.
yes.
And then another question, when the dog retires at 10,
Yes.
so does that mean that it retires and gets to live with Steve as his primary handler? Or that the dog has to go back to Duo Dogs?
So that is, in the contract, it states that is completely, that would be a discussion to be had at the end of because the dog would no longer be in service.
Right.
So my assumption is, and again, I'm hoping in 10 years I can have this conversation, but my assumption would be, well, it'd be 8 years. They would say, this dog is now bonded with Steve.
Okay.
It's no longer in service. Now, Steve, it's your pet.
Yeah.
Now you can take it to the dog park, meet Mrs. Sarsney.
This is a
10 years you
canine.
haven't missed starting.
So this is like a canine dog for police department, where he's, say, an employee, but the dog is an employee of the district.
Yeah. I
And
didn't,
that's
yes.
his role,
Yes.
not as being,
Yep. And when he's at work, just like you would, if you go to the airport, he will
Yes.
have a vest on. And I mean, he is
Okay.
it's an official, it's not a cute little chihuahua. Oh man, it better not be a chihuahua, I'm sorry. If you have chihuahua, sorry.
The contract said Labrador.
Is this it?
so usually
Yeah.
like golden.
Yeah, the contract said
Does say
Labrador.
that.
It said chocolate,
Yeah.
I think 3 options, but it said Labrador on
I
there.
lost my chocolate, I stopped.
Because I was curious, when it said that, I was like, oh, I guess it's a lab.
So then the cost of the feeding would be on the handler versus.
Yeah, anything day to day, yep.
just the vet bill for the annual shots and all that.
Yep, yep.
Now, Steve is mostly here. Will the dog ever be able to go to other schools and like with services, if like the social worker knows that something's going on that might need it?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say the answer is yes, but it's not going to be day one, day two. But yeah, the plan is to expand this in time. And if that means, once the dog, I would guess, again, I'm not the handler, I'm not doing the training. There's probably an acclimation period to where we just need the dog to be in the school system just to kind of get used to the school system. And then once he gets comfortable, the plan would then be to move him around, kind of introduce other schools to the dog. And then if the board is willing to hear me out, maybe in the future, continue to grow this program. Especially if it's successful. The hardest part with this one was finding someone who wanted to be a handler. When I approached Steve 3 years ago, at that time he wasn't interested. But, I mean, things change. Dr. Quasi's always looking for a dog. She has 2 little ones. So those are all kind of the general questions I got. Oh, the other one, what happens if Steve's working with a kid and the dog has to go out to the bathroom? I'm sure that the training will teach him this, but I'm pretty sure Steve has the ability to either call Kayla or say, hey, do you see whatever the dog, I hope the dog's name is Up, by the way, Up Dog. I need to take Up out for a second. I mean, that's, in the grand scheme of things,
Maybe we should have a vote thing,
Maybe.
like that would be like a
Well,
small
I'm
thing.
sure it has a name.
I'm sure it
My
already
guess is
has
after
a
2
name.
years,
It's
it has a name.
Oh, man! No, I guess you're right.
It's gonna be
Probably
peanut butter cup
I
or
thought
something.
maybe it's like a fun school
Maybe it's
thing.
Steve.
That would be phenomenal. So, but that's kind of my update on everything. I know it's a little bit later, but that's where everything's going. So, any questions?
Is that all you got? You're good to go?
We can ask.
I just presented for 8 minutes on it. Is that all I got? Whew.
I'm just making sure, but I wanna cut you off.
Oh, I know there were people with questions like about allergies and all that, so like all that information about like safety to kids, the purpose of the dog, what they're gonna use it for, I'm assuming you all will just send something out. that
100,
says
yeah, absolutely.
When
Yep.
Steve is all.
Well, I would
Yep.
assume our next handbook would probably have something in it,
Probably
so
has
we'll
something.
have to
Yeah.
add on to that.
And just to reiterate, I've contacted our legal team.
Yeah.
They are 100% fine with it. Contacted our insurance company. It's not increased in our insurance premiums at all.
No.
Both of them said the same thing. These are so common now in school systems that it's not
Standard.
something that they're too worried about. And I would also assume that as part of the training that they would work with Steve on, hey, Steve, this is one of the things that you need to be mindful of.
Right, yeah, the
Yep.
communication.
Now,
And no person would be required, my dog is scared of, my son is scared of dogs. So if Griffith ever got a dog, we would have to make them aware, and Jack would never interact with the dog. So we would make sure that you're not gonna force a kid to do anything they
Yeah.
don't wanna do. So that's a good question. Sorry.
when would this potentially start? Like, would this be like a summer training and starting next year, or does he not kind of know yet?
So
That's not ironed out?
he's talking to dual dogs right now to find out when that training is, and if they can get into the first one, if not. So that's up in the air.
Yeah.
It would probably, at the latest, probably next year. I want to say a safe assumption would probably be next year.
I assume that would give every time to, like you said, like we need to add it into the handbook, add it into the school
Yeah.
policy.
Yeah.
We need all that in line before we introduce them to the school to children.
Yeah, and it seems like they're from, I know that there was some discussion out in the community, but it seemed like there were a couple people who were like, hey, you can come to me. I'm sure you got some of that information, or if not, I can go back and I did have some names written down of people who are like, contact me, our school has a dog, and we're happy to, so there's a lot of.
Well, like I said, most of the commentary that I have heard has been mostly positive, or even seen. Like, there's not a whole lot of negative.
Mr. Meyer's kids go to Mantino, and they have multiple therapy dogs in Mantino. And everybody I've talked to over at Mantino has nothing but great things to say. So,
Well, the consensus seems to be anything that helps, and I mean, if it's free on top of it, that's a bonus, but in today's climate, anything that can help the
minimum
children.
cost. Not free.
Minimal cost, but I mean, free for the district for the most part, I mean,
Minimal cost.
minimal cost. But it's, cheaper than the SEL program.
That is very true.
Okay.
So there I'm at. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry to take so long.
Next up is a committee update. CARVS only meets like every 3 months, so I don't meet again until March. I gave the update last month.
Well, Dr. Gaham did steal my thunder of saying that the dog was presented to the Beecher Education Foundation, and they very quickly gave us an approval for up to $10,000. So thank you very much to that board. And then we'll roll right into their upcoming foundation dinner. It is February 15th at 5:30 at CD and Me out in Frankfurt.
Yep.
So tickets are available. You can go to Facebook. There's a QR code. You can contact any of the foundation members. They can, you can contact them or send them a message on Facebook. You can even go to the bank. One of the foundation board members works at the bank, so she can have that available, if you want to go into the bank and get the ticket. If you are unable, it is around Valentine's Day, so it's a good, night out and you don't have to make reservations, just buy a ticket. And you can go out and maybe, they have some nice jewelry that husbands can get their wives, and usually on auction. Just saying, I'm just putting it out there. So the auction items and things. So if you want a ticket, contact one of the foundation members. If you're unable to attend, you can also support them with a 50-50 raffle. So they're having a 50-50 raffle that will be pulled at the foundation dinner as well. So you can contact someone at the foundation or send them a message through Facebook if you're interested in any of those tickets as another way to support that organization.
And I also said it as an attachment to all families in the district. So
Yeah, I saw that.
they should, the flyer should be there
Yep.
with a QR code
Perfect.
with information as well.
Yep, that's my update.
I know the Youth Commission is doing their bowling again on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I don't know if it's closed yet. It was limited. They were only doing kind of one session for about 4 hours, it seemed like. And then they have the mother-son dance and the daddy-daughter dance coming up. Anything other than that? I'm sorry. That's all I know.
For the PTO, Kristen sent me a message earlier saying that their capital project for their fundraising this year will be classroom furnishings, like flexible seating, storage cabinets, standing desks, stuff like that. And on January 29th, they are hosting the internet safety presentation from 5:30 to 7 at the elementary school. And Protect Young Eyes will host talks for K through 8 during the day as well.
I'm like ready and listening.
Cough syrup's kicking in.
Feeling hungry. For the Booster Club, we are back with Chuck-a-Duck at the home games for boys and I believe girls too. So they'll be back Friday for homecoming. If any student needs community service hours, we're still doing concessions at the junior high, so it's easy hours to get. And we have our next meeting, I think Sunday, so we'll have more going on, but just come to the games, buy a duck, win prizes.
Scholarship, we are meeting on Monday, so we'll have more information for next month from that.
And nothing from Commerce.
Mr. Meyer did have a question for your report, and we forgot to mention it. The parent night that Mr. Sharsney is doing on the 22nd, I did want to shout that out, just so if people didn't know.
What? I don't even know.
Okay.
I know we talked about it, but I
Yes,
didn't-
no, he said
I
it.
date that.
So January 22nd from 6,
Oh, here it is.
yeah, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. What is it for? It's a Zoom meeting for parents for information for KCC,
Yeah, absolutely.
Prairie State, and the AP classes.
6 to 7.
Yep, 6 to 7 via Zoom.
Yeah,
I
email.
know, February 22nd, thank you.
I online link could be ready closer to the
Yep.
due date.
Yep. Sorry, I wanted to make sure because that is before our next meeting, so I wanted to make sure like it was out there just in
No,
case.
thank you.
He sent emails into all high school, it's open to all high school students, but he's really thinking it targets more freshmen, sophomores, but juniors, maybe if they aren't already in there or parents have questions.
Yep.
But that is
Good.
where it is geared. So that hopefully they can get information to make the decisions for next year. That's the primary aspect of it because he will have to start planning the schedules and making schedules in a couple months. And that helps. Okay, sorry, I forgot about that and I wanted to throw it out there. Okay, next up is old business. So we need to approve the 2025-2026 school calendar. The one that was emailed to us was to start at August 13th with staff day, students start August 15th. So I need a motion to approve the August 13th start staff day.
So approved.
Move, but then you.
We'll do all of it.
Oh, second?
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Forrest.
Yes.
Flickman.
Yes.
DeChenko.
Yes.
Hanson. Yes. Motion carried.
So, make that official, next year's students' first day will be Friday, August 15th. And then, the other big change that families will see is Veterans Day is now an in-person day. And I have already been working with my principals, and I'm very excited that they're gonna provide some kind of veterans service that day. I'm very passionate about that day, so.
You should have veterans come in. I know
Definitely, there's some ideas out there.
I always loved it at the elementary, and we taught them songs, and they came in and we sang to the veterans. Like, I loved that when we had school on Veterans Day.
And pending no emergency days, i.e. has snowed, remote's different than emergency, but no emergency days. Casimir Pulaski is back to being a 4-day weekend, so families can maybe do a little bit extra thing there. That's the first emergency day, and then the second emergency day is Friday the 29th, so the last day of school is Thursday the 28th, so again, we've built a buffer in. If there's a day, we still have, we have that extra day that we don't have to go over onto a Monday.
And I know we talked last time, this calendar ends the quarter before winter break, so
Yes.
there's not a.
So by adding one more day, by doing that one day, the Friday to start, and then Veterans Day, that makes it back to the same breakdown you have right now. So you'll have,
Finals before break.
for high school finals before break, it's an 85-91 split.
I forgot to ask, do we have to executive session?
I have no need, I don't have anything in particular. I did mention that, but we'll talk about it later. I would like a personnel meeting, but that's nothing to do with today.
So next is new business.
Who's drawing pieces?
What? Oh, Lisa, sorry, I didn't check mark that. I just saw the red up there. Yep, okay. So need a motion to approve the Peace Lutheran contract as submitted, so it was emailed to us.
Can I, that way I can
Yeah.
tell the community what we're doing.
Yeah.
No, I know we've talked about it.
No, I know.
And I appreciate your faith in me. So, faith, Peace Church. So Dawn and I on Monday went and met with Mr. Barber and 3 of the other trustees. And then we had, Pastor was sick, but he was on the phone. We met with them, we talked about kind of our needs. There's 2 classrooms on right by on the west side. It has an entrance specific to those 2 classrooms, and then the parking lot's right there, as well as the
Playground.
playground. Thank you, Larry. I knew somebody out there. They were really, really understanding, very good, great with the communication. They basically, this is step 1 in building a very positive relationship. So we're gonna start out with, there's 3 classrooms right there, there's 3 classrooms, 2 classrooms for the kids, and then there's a computer lab, which we're gonna kind of repurpose to be a conference/office room if Don needs to do things over there. In doing so, this is kind of step 1. You guys, and so I told the trustees, your guys' approval tonight would then go to their board to say that we are serious about moving forward with it. And then they would talk about it at their board meeting on the 13th. After that, we would then move, I would bring Joe, Nathan, Dawn, and probably Jen Barber over there to a visit and start figuring out how we can kind of Beecher200U implement things. I know I gave you guys kind of like mid-January, yeah, it was pie in the sky. We're probably looking closer to the end of February to finally get kids in there. We did post for the position, so we can know if we can open up that second one. But there's a strong possibility we're gonna be in there in March with 2 classrooms. And Jen Barber's very excited. I was happy to see how excited she was about it. Both classrooms have independent bathrooms. Everything, there's fire doors that are right there that close off. They've agreed to let us rekey it, so it's just gonna be, we won't have to worry about us carrying around churches' keys. I'm very cognizant, yeah, that word, cognizant of it. So all those things it was a very, very productive, positive meeting. So, sorry to steal your thunder.
No, it's okay.
Any questions?
I forgot. I was like, we talked about it last
Yeah.
meeting, but we should revisit and redo, what it kind of talks about and how we talked about the last meeting. Nothing really changes with the kids. They just, instead of getting dropped off at the elementary, they get dropped off here.
Yep.
It doesn't change their pickup time. It doesn't change anything for
Yep.
families as far as that goes.
And the school's attorneys wrote that up, wrote up the contract, and as did Mr. Barber, who obviously used to be a village administrator, so the two of them kind of, well, he gave it to me, I gave it to lawyers gave it back to me, but yeah, lawyers have looked over this.
And all of their support people will be coming to them there. The same supports they were getting in the elementary
yes.
school, they're
Yep.
getting there. I'm just
Yep.
trying to cover every question
Yep.
anyone could have, So
I
it
see
should be all
It
the
says
same.
that it terminates on July 1st, so is this something we'll revisit every year?
Yeah, so
Make sure it's a good fit.
That's exactly what it is, because Bob and I agreed, like, we want to, it's 2026 as well. So
Right,
it's
right.
the rest of this year and then all of next year.
Right.
And the hope is that once we understand each other, we kind of feel each other out.
Yeah.
It would be a long-term, maybe a 5-year commitment to that kind of thing. And then maybe, even, like I mentioned before, we didn't really explore it this time around, but maybe expanding it a little bit further into the classrooms and doing something with SOIT. But that's big
That's big
picture.
picture, right.
Right now, this is kind of getting foot in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works out.
You know, it's kind of like a first date, see if it works out.
Well, that would be the hope, because we've been talking for years, if we can get some of our SOIT kids back home, that's the ideal goal, but you have to have the room, the resources, because they do a phenomenal job there. So we have to be able to give adequate education just like they would. Okay, so now I need a
I
motion.
move we
I'm like, I can redo it again.
Long-term contract.
There's veteran leadership right there.
Second that emotion.
Felt.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Whitman.
Yes.
DeChenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, moving on now to new business. We don't have a lot of new business, it's pretty easy. So I need a motion to approve the 2024-2025 seniority list as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Flores. Yes. Whitman. Yes. DeChenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Felt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Do you want to speak on the agreement for Will County Transportation or no?
It's just, we're a subsidiary of it, they went out to bid. I think this is the only, Riverside again was the only one that did it, we're part of the, so I just wanted to formalize that, yeah, we're continuing to be part of that consortium.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the Will County Transportation Consortium Agreement as submitted. Consortium?
So moved.
Yep.
Second. Whitman. Yes. DeChenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Felt.
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Motion carried.
Bless you.
I know we were emailed about the PT contract. Can we speak to that in open
100%,
session?
yeah. Right now, outplaced students have SOIC services that are provided to them. And one of those services is through Rolling Stones.
Stepping stone.
Stepping
Rolling
stone.
Stones. Mick Jagger comes out and helps out. Through Stepping Stones. Well, the one who does one of the services for our student who goes to Menta is stepping away from Stepping Stone. But because it's middle of the year, she didn't want to do a disservice to our students. So what she's done is she's provided us a contract to continue working with that student, independent of Stepping Stones. It's the same rate that we were paying Stepping Stones, so it's just making sure that we acknowledge that she's not part of them, but she's still giving services to our student. And so,
Now, is there any option to continue that, or is this just because that one student, like, is that something if we need for next year, she'd be willing to visit, or no, she just wants to finish this year? Okay.
yeah.
I assume, but
Yeah.
you never know.
I mean, she may change her mind at the end of the year, but no, they'll probably, Sowick will be absorbing that back.
So I need a motion to approve the physical therapist contract for Mary Jansen as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Flickling.
Yes.
DeChenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Feld.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Oh, look at that. We are like done, y'all. Sorry. So, items for the February 12th, 2025 board meeting. Anything we have to add onto there? I know we need personnel and finance. Do you need it before the next meeting?
Probably, I mean, it's not, I definitely need before March, but I mean, it's not,
Okay.
if there's nothing that works in the next month, it's not like, this is to kind of talk about some personnel things for next year, before we start posting positions.
And would you want to do it together, personnel and finance
Yeah,
together? or
I think it's a good
okay,
idea.
to try to group it together. Okay, so I know that is Larry and me,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mandy and Adriana?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I know me and Larry are on both, and then one
We're
for
each
you.
on one.
Is there any time that works best for you, or do you want it certain days of the week? Are you ready? Like, do you kind of know what you
Oh,
want to
I-
talk about?
I am
or
at
do
the
you need-
will of the board, so you tell me, oh, I know what I want to talk about, yeah.
Okay,
You-
well, I didn't know if you need some
Yeah.
more time to kind of iron out exactly what you want, or,
Apparently, January 17th is the dance Super Bowl for my daughter, so I'm unavailable.
that's a Friday, we don't meet on
I
Friday.
don't know what that means, dance
You can do
Super
it the
Bowl.
week after that,
Yeah, Super Bowl.
21st, 22nd.
I can only do the 22nd or 23rd that week.
Want to do the 23rd?
Does the Thursday, the 23rd work for
Mhm.
everyone? Hang on, Jack's checking.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Portion of it will be executive session, because some of the personal matters are
Yeah.
specific to people.
Okay.
But the others will be open session, so.
Does the 23rd work for you?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
somebody said, wait a second.
Yes, yes, sorry. Oh, no, wait. January?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, okay. That's fine for me.
So 23rd, 4 PM work, or is that too early?
Too early. I can do 4:15.
So how about 4:30, just to make sure everything's good?
I mean, I can get here by 4:15.
Well, but with weather, you never,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
let's do
absolutely.
4:30, because it
Yeah.
is that time of year.
100%.
So 4:30 PM, January 23rd? Okay,
Are you doing both?
yes, together.
Yeah, we can do
We'll just do. Okay, so upcoming dates, February 12th is the regular board meeting, and then we've already been told February 15th is the Beecher Education Foundation dinner. So I don't have anything else to add. Anyone else have anything else needs added?
The school night that was January 22nd?
Yes, January 22nd. 6 to 7 PM via Zoom. Link will be provided by Mr. Sarsney upcoming. Yeah.
Steve Sarsney's doing some work.
He is.
Tell you.
He didn't have his-
Okay, so nothing else to add. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.